I know. I know what you all are going to say. Hey. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to go in that. It's a bear market. People are upset. People can't take the heat. People are freaking out. And honestly, I don't know. This could turn into a rant video. You know? Yes, reserve list cards like Revise are down probably 30-35% from the highs. A lot of the vintage sealed Magic boxes, Stronghold, Tempest, Revise, they're probably down about 25-35%. Same thing. $10,000 old vintage Magic box, probably about $6,000-7,000. $15,000-18,000 Revise box, maybe about $10,000-12,000. I mean, these are all 20, 30, maybe even 40% adjustments. But I don't understand why people are acting like the sky is falling. People are acting... Now, if you put yourself in a situation where you're leveraged and you've got bills coming and you're going to flip something, that's a different conversation. But I just don't share the concern right now. And maybe this video is going to age like complete garbage because in 6 months from now, the free fall is going to be so bad, people are like, remember that video Rudy made? And that could be. But here we are, middle of 2021. Yes, like I said, those Magic items, reserve list, some sealed boxes, they've cooled off. Look at the Modern Horizons 2, set, draft, and collector. Look at the old vintage boxes. Look at the Revise and reserve list cards in that, in certain categories, not all of them. Now, let's go over. Look at Pokemon. Look at Battle Styles. Look at the vintage Pokemon boxes. I remember vintage Pokemon, base set 2, unlimited, or, the old Jungle, first edition unlimited. Look at the highs compared to where they are today. Easy 20, 30, 40% reduction in price across the board on sealed product. But this isn't like, I don't really consider this a bad thing. Let's look over at, what else we got going on? Let's talk about Flesh and Blood, huh? Flesh and Blood, you have Crucible of War. Hit an all-time high about 1,600. Bouncing around between 1,000 and 1,100 now. But a lot of bids coming in at 1,000 now, and they're selling for that. And that's another 30% price decline. Look at Arcane Rising first edition boxes. Peaked at like $6,000 a box. Right now, about $3,500 a box. About a 40% price adjustment. Monarch, about $350. All-time high in Monarch was $650 a box. Sitting at $350 a box. 40% price decline from the all-time high. Original Welcome to Wraith Alpha first printing boxes hit about $10,000 a box. Well, about $9,000 unless you're buying by the case. There's always a premium to that because there's no seal on the logo. They're about $6,000. Again, same thing, 35-40% price decline. So across the board, see, this is the thing. For those of you who've been through the gauntlet and you've been punched in the face a million times, you've been through a ton of bulls and bear markets, you've seen the glory days, you've been to the bottom, you've been hosed and just completely wrecked over and over. You learn a couple things. You learn that, number one, the biggest wealth transfer is always made in a bad time and when people get very scared and greedy and very nervous and very, everyone gets paranoid and that whole FUD is going crazy and just people, the bad times is really the most important times. And when you're in an uptick or a giant green, you know what I mean, on Wall Street, if you have a big green up bar, it attracts a lot of the noobs and the people who don't really know what's going on. Everyone's just trying to pile on. But in markets where it cools off and goes sideways, or in markets that retrace, or maybe entering a bear market, or just a cool-off period, that's really where most of the money is made. That's when the smart money starts making moves. When everything's going to the moon, it's fun and it's hype, it's just a lot of fun, but that's not really where the big money is made. Does that make sense, everybody? That's the difference. The big money is really made when things are bad. See, here's the thing. I'd be more concerned if only Flesh and Blood was tanking. I'd be more concerned if only Pokemon was just gone to crap. I'd be most concerned if only Magic was tanking in price. But the fact that all the categories are declining together is actually a good thing, because it shows it's not specific to a specific game sector or industry. The fact that the crypto across the board, and not just Ethereum tanked to zero, but Bitcoin's at 100,000. The fact that it's spread evenly. The fact that the wave is hitting all the categories tells you it's more of a systematic, larger, macro type of situation, which is actually a better rationale and a better way to digest what's going on versus having a single category collectible or asset class decline. It makes a lot more sense. Same thing with real estate. Real estate, I'm actually starting to see, hey, even the price of lumber's come down from the all-time high. But we're not seeing a crash, but we're seeing more of stabilizing. The prices aren't going straight up, but they're starting to kind of maybe cool off from going straight up like a bottle rocket. They're starting to actually go more side. They're not tanking, but do you see what I'm getting at? But the problem is a lot of people don't understand how to digest that. They don't understand how to really respond to that. They don't really get why that is, and they don't understand that it's not really that bad of a thing. It doesn't mean that everything's just gone to hell. It means the market's doing what it's supposed to be doing, and that's okay. And I think that it needs to be said that, don't bash any particular card game, whether it's Magic or Pokemon or even Weiss. There's a couple of Weiss sets that have gone down quite a bit recently, and there's a couple other ones that have gone to the moon. And that's okay. It's okay. It's okay to mispronounce card names, especially when it gets people wound up. It's okay to people to make fun of you for your spec or to buy into a set or a card that nobody likes. It's okay. At the end of the day, if you're putting all your money in Mystical Archives, if you're buying in at 1 cent, it can't go negative, can it? Is this oil? Crude oil? Crude oil can go negative, but Mystical Archives cannot. Mystical Archives can't go negative. So if you buy 1 million Mystical Archives for 1 cent a piece, you can't lose money. It can only go one way. Big green candlestick, right? So that's what I'm getting at, everybody. I just think it's important we all step back sometimes and say, whoa, what's the big, some of the emotional responses I see that people say to each other or patrons communicate to each other or on, Reddits and message boards and Discords and private groups. People send me these screenshots and people arguing and attacking. Rudy, what do you think of this? It's kind of like, whoa, I think you're all crazy. Calm down. It's not a big deal. The market is going to have ebbs and flows. That's why it's called a market. It's not supposed to go in one direction. If it only went straight up or straight down, it's not much of a market. It's just a race to zero or race to infinity. Infinity? Infinite. That's not what a marketplace is. The marketplace is designed where every time someone sells something, they're locking in money and someone's buying it because they feel there's opportunity. It's two sides of it. It's like a Wall Street. It's like an equity transaction. Every time someone sells you that share of Amazon, someone else is pretty much saying, I want to buy in at this price of Amazon. Essentially, that's what's going on. Unless you want to get into synthetic shares and fake things and that's different. That just makes my head uncomfortable. I just wanted to talk about this with everybody. I'm trying not to get all dramatic about it, but I just don't understand why people can't really zoom out at times. And I don't understand why, if it doesn't just go to the moon every day, every week, every month, it's almost like people just want to disown it. And I don't really, I just don't see what they see. Because from my standpoint, when I see what's going on, Wizards and Magic are releasing powerhouse products. The sales and revenue for Wizards and the product and demand for it is just phenomenal. The game is doing fine. Pokemon is still booming. Sure, the prices are adjusted back, but the game is doing fine. I don't see any problem with the boxes or the game itself. Look at Flesh and Blood. I heard on TCG Player, the Monarch First Edition beat out Magic and Pokemon for the month of May or something. It was insane. It was completely insane. And now people are acting like, oh, Flesh and Blood's dead. Prices went down. What? Just because a market readjusts or reprices up or down is not always a reflection of the particular card game. And I think that's important for everybody who's starting to bash Magic or Pokemon or Flesh and Blood or Weiss or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Dragon Ball Supers or Final Fantasies or the new MetaZoo coming up that had prices come down from the highs. It doesn't reflect what's going on with the game or the company just because prices have a downshift or the prices have an uptick. It doesn't reflect that the company all of a sudden is changing everything. It doesn't mean anything. That is the marketplace, kind of speculating, guessing, and moving money and product around. It doesn't really reflect what the company itself is doing or the future value of the company. That is the market itself, or speculators or collectors or evil investors or the 3% ladies who watch this channel, or it's everybody trying to place their bet on the chessboard. Okay? And I think this is all what makes a good, healthy marketplace. I like what's going on. I see overall, all the markets look good. I don't see any major concerns right now across the board in any of them. Sure, the prices aren't at a record all-time high, but that's okay. I don't see a problem with that. You can't wake up every day and just everything goes up. It doesn't work that way. I don't understand where that came from and why people respond so dramatically and emotionally. It's just bizarre to me. But again, that's why I hide in a basement all the time.